Hi friends, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. I don't gotta say it no more, but we have another one of our Hermione fanfiction recommendations coming up. I wasn't aware that September was considered a Hermione month because I haven't been keeping up with the community, which is so bad of me. But I do know that there's a day that we're all looking for in September, and that is our beloved Hermione Granger birthday. So of course, as your little Hermione friend, I gotta do better. I gotta step up and present to you 19 different recommendations narrated by our beloved Hermione to celebrate our September 19th sweetheart now, do we? Before we move on with the videos though, I want to apologize in advance if my voice sounds like I'm about to lose it, because I'm actually about to lose it for real. I filmed this video on back-to-back days with my I Will Make You Proud video. Please forgive me in advance, okay? Secondly, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have never repeated a shirt in my video before. I have made a point not to repeat my outfit in my video, but today is going to be the day that I break my own streak. I just want to wear something over the top for our baby girl's birthday, and this shirt seems the most appropriate. So this is going to be a special videos, okay? I know you heard me say 19 different recommendations, so we gotta get this rolling because we have a lot to talk about, okay? For the first part of the video, I'm going to name drop 11 Hermione fanfictions for you guys. The reason why I say name drop is because I only want to mention the name and the author and don't want to go into details, because I myself consider these 11 fanfictions to be the cream of the crop in the Hermione community, and for that reason, I know that everybody and their mother have either read or at the very least heard of those stories already. And me myself, I have been talking about them non-stop in an abundance of my videos before. If you guys want to know more about those stories, I would recommend checking out the links of the videos that I've put in the description box, okay? Now we have obviously the pilers in the community. For the long story novel length name drop recommendations, we have Manacle by Sending You, Measure of a Man by Inadas 22, The Right Thing to Do by Love Bitska 8, Apple Pies and Other Men's by To Eat a Peach, The Fear of Letting Go by Lady Midnight 87, and lastly To Rule a Scandal by Stars in Motion. For shorter story, we have obviously Uncoffined by Lady of Clune, Amor Deliria Nervosa by Cup of Madness, Hermione Husband Checklist by Green Flower Pot, Our Share Silent by Bofas Totem, and lastly Out of Mind by Galfoy. Those 11 stories are the ones that forever replay in my head and in my heart. I'll be going on with my day and a random scene from either one of those just pop up in my head. So you guys already know that the qualities of these are top tier. If you haven't checked them out, I'd recommend starting with those 11 stories for Hermione's point of view fix. Now, moving on to the recommendations part, I wanted to spend more time on these last 8 recommendations, and I want more people to know about them because I think they deserve to be read. We'll also have both the longer novel length story as well as the shorter story as well. So pick whatever portions that you desire at the moment. And so we're gonna go into each of these Hermione fanfiction, but I will keep my commentary to the minimum because I want you guys to have the fullest experience when it comes to these fanfictions, okay? First recommendation, the first true recommendation that we have in this video is Detrake by Hysterical. In hindsight, I actually think that I made this whole video just so that I can mention Detrake to you guys, because I believe this story to be the only one Hermione's point of view story that you will ever need. If you want a story where Hermione is the main character and you want to learn more about the character of Hermione, you want to grow up with her, you want to go through everything with her, this is the only one story that you will ever need in your arsenal. I dare even say that this is the only Hermione's point of view or Hermione's character study that you will ever need in your Hermione collection. This story will go into the nitty-gritty of Hermione's life, starting from 6 years to 7 years of the war and everything delightful after that as well. It is a giant piece of a story, okay? It was recently completed by the author at around 730,000 words, so you will have a good time and you have a long time with this story as well. You will go through a journey here. There would be no appropriate word to call Detrake if not calling it a masterpiece. This is one of the stories that is just beyond me because I am a nobody to even cast an opinion or do a review on this story. It is just that god tier of a masterpiece, and it will leave you thinking, why the hell are you reading this story for free? Because it has everything that you would pay to read. You have the most sophisticated, the highest level of writing in this story. The storyline is packed and it is so multi-layered with many intricacies. The character development is just top tier, and lastly, the details are chosen with such care that it will be so remarkable. It will stand out so much. Even with a story that has 730,000 words, there are moments in this story that you will just memorize forever. I know the story is long, but I guarantee you that it's going to be worth your time. And I don't know if you know me, but it means a lot coming from me, okay? okay, because I am a very impatient and unsophisticated reader, that I'm recommending it even though it's 730,000 words, okay? If you print it out, it probably will be like a block. So I would typically go for shorter story, things that I can just pop in and pop out, and I'm willing to read it. So I mean, I think it means a lot. So please check this story out, and if it's what you're looking for, I guarantee you that you will have such a good time. Now, the next recommendation is a little bit biased on my part because I have talked about this story extensively on my videos before, but I still want to talk about it in this video because I think it deserves to be read by every single Hermione fan, every single Hermione sim in this community. And we have Osculum Annum by My Delphi. The story started out for us after that punch scene that we all know in The Prisoners of Azkaban. Draco Malfoy needed a way to get back to Hermione Granger for punching him, so he came up with this brilliant plan that later getting him into more trouble than he has ever anticipated. This story, in short, is my own personal Hermione wishlist manifest into an actual story. Everything that I adore with Hermione fanfiction, everything that I look for in a Hermione fanfiction, everything that I long to read in a Hermione fanfictions are all packaged together in this one story. It is my ultimate Hermione comfort read. If you erase my whole Hermione database from my head and you leave me with Osculum Annum, I mean, I'll probably be half dead and I would be longing for some pieces of me that is missing, but I have Osculum Annum and I think I will be at least okay. This story has everything that you look for in a good quality Hermione fanfiction. The writing is straightforward, but it is super polished. The timeline of the story is super easy to follow and it's fast paced. But what I say for this story and what makes this story pops out so much for me is the details and the moment between Draco and Hermione. If you are someone who sims for those things, I guarantee you that you will have such a good time with Osculum Annum. You will love it with your whole chest. I guarantee, I promise you that. I mean, I feel like I've said so much about Osculum Annum for you not to read this story, so go read it. Now, the last story is something that I recently read and it's very special and it stands out so much for me, and we have On Borrowed Time by Wildcat Blue. This story started out for us in a Voldemort win universe where there are only 2 surviving members of the Order of Phoenix. Hermione is then tasked with a mission which was believed to be the key to change the outcome of the war. This story is a super intricate time travel story with a riveting plot. I almost felt like I was watching a Christopher Nolan movie when I was reading this story. Many of the time travel theories are considered and featured in this story, so if you are a lover of time and the whole concept of time traveling, I feel like this story is going to be a galore for you. The writing of this story is super special and it's precious in its own way. I rarely see this type of writing style in Hermione fanfiction, so it makes this story super remarkable for me. Overall, I feel like this story doesn't make me go unhinged the way that I do with Osculum Annum, but it stands out so much for me as someone who reads Hermione a lot. This story is super remarkable and I will remember it for a long time to come. Now, moving on to the shorter story, we have something that I absolutely love. I have Familiar Places, Worn Out Faces by Love BDAY. This story started out first with Hermione being an Auror. She was injured on the job. When she wakes up, she has no memory of who she is, of magic, of Hogwarts, of anything. But there was one person that she trusts, and that is her doctor, Draco Malfoy. This story is one of the most beautifully written, lyrically written story that you will ever find in the Hermione community. This is one of the stories that I read very early on in my Hermione career, but I still remember it. I can probably recount this story for you guys from memory alone, and that's how much you know this story has impacted me personally. This story, I feel like, is one of the most appropriate recommendations I can put in this video because we have a story that is narrated by Hermione in first person point of view. So you will truly know what it feels like for Hermione throughout the whole story. And this story was one of the most beloved one-shot when it comes to Hermione fanfiction, so you know that this story comes with any accolade that you need to start. And obviously it's a Love BDAY story, so please go ahead and just read it. Ignore me or the rest of the video. Go ahead and read the story if you haven't, okay? The next story is one of the most tender, or I would say precious, recommendation that I almost want to gatekeep, okay? We have From the Ashes by Damn Scribbling Woman. In this story, Hermione was captured in a Voldemort win universe and she was kept at the Malfoy Manor, but for some reason Hermione is confused because she seems to know 2 versions of Draco Malfoy. One of them is the ruthless soldier of Voldemort, but there seems to be a second version of him too, a lover boy in the sun whose smile blinds her. I don't know about you, but if you give me that synopsis right now and I haven't seen this story before, I will go ahead and read it in a second, because I'm just that type of person who would go for an entirely angsty story with a hope for a little happy ending at the end. If that's what you are looking for right now, I would recommend you head into this story immediately. This story has one of the highest quality when it comes to writing in Hermione fanfiction, and the plot will not disappoint you because I already explained it. But the moments that Draco and Hermione share in this story, and the romance and the history, is what does me in, because it's so bittersweet, it's so precious, it's so tender despite everything else in the world. And so for someone who is a sucker for those soft touches, for those secret intimacy, you already know why I love this story. Okay, next, no more bittersweet, because we have a fluff galore and we have an aberration condition by Chaos and Crumpet. I've also talked about this story before, but I feel like it deserves to be talked about a lot more. In this story, we have a Hermione who just keep aberrating away whenever she sees Draco Malfoy, and after a few times that happens, it's kind of become noticeable. This story is gonna be such a quick read for you, and on top of everything delightful about Draco, Hermione, and the love between them, we also have a super understanding Ron Weasley and an oblivious Harry Potter. And I just feel like that combo will just make you laugh, it will make you swoon, and it will make you go to bed happy. So I would recommend reading this story before you go to bed. You guys already know me and the bedtime story. This is one of the candidates for those, okay? Next recommendation is something that I read recently on my quest to complete every single My Delphi work, because you guys already know how much I love Osculum. We have Night Shift Shenanigans by My Delphi. Now in this story, Draco was aberrated into Sang Mungo because he was injured while Hermione was the head healer for that shift. From the time that he was transported into Sang Mungo by Theodore Nott and the time that he was released into the world by Hermione Granger, there is just entirely so much time for something to happen. What I love about My Delphi story is the fact that she built Draco and Hermione to be so tender. They are just like your babies. You want to protect them forever. They're so soft and so precious, and in turn that soft and tender love as well. And I feel like My Delphi would be the perfect actress for you to check out. I feel like this story is very non-extreme for me. It doesn't make me go unhinged, and there isn't something that is entirely standing out for me, but I love it all the same, and it was a good read regardless. So if you are in need of some Hermione's healer story, I would recommend checking this story out. Last recommendations for this video, I'm saving you the best for last, okay? But we have Ardent Bonds. Ardent, yeah, we have Ardent Bonds by Music. Now there's nothing that I can say about this story. There's nothing to say about this story. Just look at my notes for this story and go see for yourself, okay? Go girl, have a happy birthday with Hermione. Now that's the end of my recommendation list for Hermione's point of view story to celebrate Hermione Granger's birthday coming up on the 19th. I know that this video kind of seems a little bit random, because maybe it is so, but I wanted to have a good mixture in this video for you guys, both longer novel length story as well as shorter story, and of course like the more well-known work where you can just jump in knowing that you have a good piece of fanfiction ahead of you, and also like the indie recommendations that are a little bit less popular, but I hope that it will turn out good for you as well. So I hope that you have a good time hanging out with me today, of course, and go ahead and wish Hermione Granger the happiest birthday of it all, okay? But we know that she is in good hands because Draco Malfoy is there for what? I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Love you!